You might be wondering, wow, is everything starting all over again now? With your soulmate, your desired partner. Maybe you're in contact or you felt it energetically. Or, as I said, in contact, there's something there again. Something is coming here now that has to do with love. Something is starting to develop again. The connection is there again. Something is getting more intense here now. And suddenly you notice something. You hear something, you see something. And you think, phew, no, I thought everything was settled now. Whether it has to do with another woman or with other people, you pick up on something and tell yourself, no, 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 now it's another endless loop. Are we going to repeat the whole thing again now? And here we take a look at what's really going on with what you're picking up from him or her, directed towards you. Or rather, yes, of course it concerns you. But maybe he doesn't tell you anything either, and you just pick up on something, and you can't quite make sense of it right now because you're saying, no, what's going on now? Is everything over again? Maybe right now you're feeling hopeless, devastated all over again. And yet there's still something there that you just can't grasp. And that's what we're going to look at now. We're tapping into the energy of the present moment, the most prominent energy that wants to reveal itself. In the collective readings, they can't apply to everyone, and the character cards are always gender neutral. Please adapt it for yourselves, for your own situation. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you exist. I'm sending you a big warm hug and lots of positive, loving energy right now. All right, let's take a look. We'll start with the coins. 3 of coins, okay. So maybe you're noticing the old patterns of behavior, but it has to do with him or her, with old patterns of behavior. And there's this, well, something aimless. It's with him or her. But, and here's a big but, which I find wonderful here. As I said, you're picking up on something. And you're thinking, no, am I going to be pushed away again? And am I maybe just someone to them after all? An ex? Or just the girlfriend? Just the affair? Or just an acquaintance? But with him or her, it's showing that something is going on inside, which has to do with old patterns of behavior, something you can see now on the outside, which is connected to your own old patterns of behavior. But he or she is here at this point where they want to leave. That old level is behind. There is movement here, but it's only hinted at. Let's take a look at what exactly is going on here, what's happening right now, because this is definitely about old patterns of behavior. And it's his issue that he has to overcome them. Above all, it has to do with you. Your connection is being shown. As I said, whether you are currently in contact or not, this connection between you will come about again, but on different level, like a more mature, better level, this reunion. He or she is completely in the middle of a test here. Maybe he kept pushing things away. Maybe he didn't want to see certain things all this time. In any case, he has his own issues. Let's see, it definitely looks exciting. So now we have the coins again. We have the Queen of Coins. All right, so the Queen of Coins. With him, it's about caring, about being generous, but it's also about trust. He is too generous. As I said, leaving the old level all behind, this change. This is also about reason. Something is really happening here now. Something is going on with him or with her. Namely, that he's also starting to take care of himself, because that also has to do with you. Because you are a very caring person. And you always gave him the trust and your loyalty. Reliable. He could always rely on you. He can rely on you. You are there. He has some kind of problem. You are immediately there to help, or you have always been there. And that's what is occupying him or her, what is going on inside. So we have quite a bit of movement in this energy. Now let's look at the feelings. We have the Five of Cups. There is a disappointment, and it's also about, although we have a beautiful new beginning, it's an absolutely painful process that he or she is going through. And there's also this sadness, this regret. So there's something here that's confronting him again, something from his past. We'll take a look in a moment to see exactly what it is, what's going on there. And I'll put it this way, one disappointment follows another. And it's about the fact that he has mistakes to make up for. So with him or her, we can clearly see a change. A change, but also an absolutely painful process. But this process is definitely necessary here. Maybe you picked up on something. As I said, we're talking about the collective here, where you might be asking, oh, is this about another woman? Maybe it's an ex, someone you might not have even known about officially, but you found out about it because I see this person being kept a secret. So it could be that you didn't notice anything, at least not officially from him or her, but that there was something going on. And now, are you picking up on something now? Maybe that's what you're noticing. Where it doesn't have to be an ex, as I said, collectively. It could also have been someone in their circle of friends, or even just the mother, the father, someone like that in their environment. And with this person, there's contact again. He or she is in contact. And you say, no. You're almost losing your faith. You're completely unsettled. It could also be that you notice something like this person is in contact, for example, with another close person related to your counterpart. It could be the mother, the father, the aunt, the sister, whatever. Or just an acquaintance where you think, hey, what's going on here? Maybe you notice something out there and you say, what's this person doing here? With the parents, or maybe some awkward friend or someone else who's back in their circle, and you think, wow, I thought this was all completely finished, that it was done and over with. Where you think you feel so much or have felt so much of his or her feelings directed at you, and then boom, something like this happens, where you think, no way. So, and now, all right, replay, we repeat the whole thing again, it all starts over from the beginning. Then you drive yourself crazy. Many thoughts. Because I can see you're actually stuck in this little state of shock. You just can't grasp it anymore. You're completely unsettled. And of course, you have your fears about what's going to happen next, what's going on. But despite all that, you still feel the feelings, the attraction to him or her. And you really feel it. You love this person, the person opposite you, and you. You're no longer sure if you're judging it right, whether he or she loves you too, whether there's something building up, whether there's really a new beginning here, a change, a transformation. Let me tell you, you're not mistaken. What you're feeling is real. You're sensing it correctly, that he loves you. And what you're picking up on here, let me tell you, no, he will not enter into a relationship with that person anymore. And so when it comes to my ex, as I said, and also when it comes to contact with others here, where you say, wow, they always kind of forced their way in here, right? Or was it this heaviness where he also distanced himself from you that always acted as a disruptive factor in between? If you notice that, again, when it comes to this or that person, I'm telling you, no, not everything is going to be made up for from the beginning again. No. When it comes to another person here, I have this intrusive behavior from his family, right? I'll just call it family. It could be the mother, the father, whoever his environment. Please remember to adapt it, because the collective always has to be considered on a larger scale. Personal experiences are always something completely different, right? And there I have this intrusive behavior from the family, or this person, because I see this person as very, very, very manipulative here. I convinced her of herself. She wants to be the center of attention, right? And that's how I see her again and again. Because in the end, this person is actually already taken, right? She's not even single, if we're talking about an ex here, because there's another person involved in the situation. But I see this person completely caught up in lies. And even if, let's say, this concerns her and the mother or the father, whatever the case may be, I have done all of this completely. Everyone here is just fooling themselves. All I see here is pretending, lying, this superficiality. Everything here is just manipulation. And your loved one has absolutely no choice, because he has to adopt the decision of the father, the mother, the other person, or the friends, no matter what it's about. And that's his issue. That's what he's always done over and over again from his past. And always this grand, always this superficiality. I see him completely caught up in disappointment, in worries. I see him completely in problems. And even if you see that there's some event, something going on, or you saw something, heard about something, or are hearing about something, where you think, no, now this cow is just involved again. I'm telling you, as I said, that's not his doing, but rather, comes from other sides. There is some kind of connection, something manipulative is going on here, right? Maybe it's also the case that, for example, the mother wants, if this is about a relationship, that the two of them get back together, right? I'm telling you, but don't panic. It won't work, because your loved one is feeling bad, worse at their worst, because that's his process. I can see that completely in his psyche, really in all its heaviness. This intrusive influence from the outside. And those are his issues. That has always been his issue in the past as well, that he always allowed this kind of intrusion, always let himself be manipulated. He was on the way to this warmth, to this heartfelt place, to lightness, to living love with you. And he was completely in that mood where you say, hey, it felt so good. And then suddenly, bam, it's over, finished, done. But the ending has nothing to do with you, because towards you, there's nothing there. It has nothing to do with you. I have the love, I have the affection, I have the attraction, I have the thoughts of you there. You are the planet of happiness. You are absolutely the most wonderful thing. You also give him positive energy, good energy. And here I have completely, it's like, I don't know, devil energy is what I see here, this manipulative vibe. And there I see him, decisions are being made, and that means this is his process, that he is freeing himself from it, breaking away from these old behavioral patterns. And that is also shown here. And that's why he is still in this process here. As I said, we don't have a relationship but here that is forming with someone else or being rekindled. And also, he is not completely falling back into this old pattern. Yes, it looks that way in this snapshot, but inside, it's completely different. He can't do it anymore. He doesn't want this anymore. And it's worse than it's ever been before. And he has always needed these blows over and over again, repeating, so that he finally wakes up. With him, it's completely clear to me. I see him as so insecure, as always lacking self-confidence, always trying to please everyone else, always showing something different on the outside. Yes, but as I said, this is pure manipulation here. And this woman, even if you feel like she's now back with him or that she's the center of attention again, no, that's not the case, right? It could also be a man or a friend, whatever the case may be, right? So he or she is definitely not the center of attention, right? Because it's all just a completely fake game, endlessly manipulative and always very materialistic. Yes, the person you might be drawing here or have noticed, whether it's family or friends. It's really just about the material things, you know? They want to get their way, and whatever they say has to be done. And they can also act really sweet. Oh, yes, and please, please, and come on, do it. And boom, you've already softened up again. And in the background, it's like, hey, we knew it would work, right? Like this. So, because what I see here is purely this superficiality, this coldness. And this person here, no matter what this is about, is shown to us purely as a ripoff. So in that sense, wow. And that is completely the burden, his burden. These are his issues that keep troubling him. And I see him restless. I see him nervous. I see him agitated here because it's not really in harmony. When you have contact with him, he tries to show you the good side, right? If you have no contact, that's also what you feel very intensely from the energy, because I see you two as being very strongly connected energetically. I see him completely in frustration, in worries. I see financial worries with him. I see worries about work. I see problems. I see sorrow with him, especially about himself. It could also be that he keeps getting one cold after another or has stomach issues. I also see neck pain with him. So he's really not doing well at all. But now he has to go through this because otherwise he won't manage his process. And now we come back to the good part because it's about letting go of the old. From uncertainty, it moves into security, into clarity. I see the turning point for the better. Things are changing. I see activity coming your way. And above all, I see the connection, the love. He feels the love and knows he has the solution because he wants you, and he realizes that he really has to do something to get out of this. I still see him as very powerless here, but he will gain the strength because I see the activity of letting go of the old. And yes, the contact will also be broken off. Here I see him withdrawing, setting these boundaries. Well, I would say the contact with you might still be kept a bit secret at first, yes, until everything here is completely resolved. But I do see the connection between you two. So really, it looks fantastic. And let him go through his process. Yes, he needs to go through it. You can't help him, and he won't let himself be helped either. When he approaches you, above all, he will approach you with love. And when he says that he loves you, or shows you loving gestures, it comes from the heart, because you will also feel the change in him or her, the heartfelt change. This softness, this warmth, because he knows that you really are the perfect one for him. You are the planet of happiness, right? So we wait. Snap. We have the 8 of Wands. Good. 8 of Wands. Okay. So, yes, your special someone is really just about to reach the goal here. It's a complete realignment. We have change, realignment. We have action. We have quick action. So we have speed. I really like this card a lot because it really brings movement into things. Even if there is still a bit of stagnation, chaos, or a delay right now, I see a positive development here, and then I see things moving quickly. So let me put it this way. The longest part is already over, or even what you see now. Don't take what you see at face value. As I said, here we can see what's going on inside him, what's happening here, how things will continue, what he really intends to do. So, absolutely great. Now we also have the coins. We have the Knight of Coins. That means things are becoming more grounded, and what is still chaos right now will turn into routine. And as for the change, right, he's being cautious, yes. But the thing is, he's coming into this sense of familiarity because he knows that there is a healthy foundation of love, between the two of you. And he doesn't want to risk anything anymore. This trust that he wants to rebuild with you, that it will fall apart again. So he doesn't want to risk anything at all. And he won't let himself be talked out of it anymore. He's embracing the change and is also becoming more grounded so that this instability, this imbalance we had before is no longer there. Like I said, it felt really great, and then bam, something would come up again. And what you're feeling is right, that you sense he loves you. That's absolutely correct. And there is movement happening as well. It's definitely not over. And we see movement towards something new beginning between you two. Wonderful. But you are completely free to decide for yourself. You know for yourself what has happened here. Whether you say you want the whole thing, or you say, all right, listen, if you come back to me now, then you really have to put in the effort so that we can finally get some real stability, because you don't want things to go back to how they were before. And he will have to prove it to you. Right. But it's also important that you stay true to your position. And whether you take him back, in the end, that decision is entirely up to you, because you are the most important person in your life. And you will make the right decision for yourself, okay? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for watching, and I wish you all the very best. Goodbye.